Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mireille.
Good afternoon.
Is that good evening? Yeah, it is good evening for you guys.
It is good evening to everyone. Good morning to those who are not in Rwanda or in Africa, and good afternoon to all of you who are joining us
in North America.
North America, indeed. My name is Mireille Karera, and I am your host for Converse with a Coach. And it's a joy to have you join us today for this episode of Converse with a Coach.
If you are I'm so grateful. Yeah.
Thank you. So if you are joining us for the first time today, allow me to introduce first of all our guests and share the flow of this episode. Today we are joined by Evelyne Samara Haganje, and Evelyne is going to talk to us about life happens after divorce. So Evelyne, welcome to the show.
Thank you all who are interested, and you are all welcome. You are all welcome. We're so excited to share about the subject, and I'm glad to be here.
Right, and thank you so much for making time, Evelyne, to talk to us today. Before we get into the conversation, allow me, Evelyne, to talk to our viewers first and share a little bit more about the show and the flow for today. For those of you joining us for the first time, Converse with a Coach is a weekly show that is hosted from Kigali, Rwanda. And the reason why Converse with a Coach exists is really to give you an opportunity to talk to a coach or coaches on specific issues that are not really in the mainstream media. So the reason why we came up with this show was to be that light of hope in the midst of chaos, but at the same time, give you the opportunity to converse with the speakers and the coaches. So rather than me and my guests speaking today, I'm going to ask you to make this conversation very interactive. So you will see me, all of you, using my phone. And when I do that, it is really to encourage you, for you to share your comments, to share your question with our speaker and myself, and also to ask any questions that you may not have had a chance to ask to anybody around you. So my guest is also a coach, and I can hear some sound, Samara, at your end as an echo. So it might be okay, fantastic. So we will wait for you to share some comments so that really we can be of service to you, particularly when it comes to this topic. Now, as we get into the topic, it will be a little bit more serious. I understand that the topic is heavy to some of the people watching us today and some who will be watching us later on. So we chose this topic because it's very, very relevant for where we are. We are in the midst of a pandemic, and most of us in our countries, whether we are in Rwanda, in Africa, or in North America, where our speaker is, or in Europe, we all have gone through a number of lockdowns that may have lasted, give or take, 4, 6, 8 weeks. And during that time, there has been a record of people truly wanting to change their lives. And some of the news we got is that people were considering separation from their partners or even divorce. So when I heard that news, and I have seen reports from TV news and also magazines that are talking about record high requests for divorce, I thought that this is something that you would be interested in hearing more about. Now, the topic of divorce is not a topic that is new and caused by the pandemic, clearly. It has been around for a long time. So even before COVID, there has been a number of divorces registered or separations. So we'll be addressing a few key areas that may culminate to that, and also the emotions that one goes through, and some traumatic experiences that people can or have gone through. So I'm so fortunate that my guest speaker today, Samara, has been so kind and brave, and I commend you, Samara, for doing that, for sharing your story and being brave to be that light that, you know, shines on specific hidden issues that people may not really want to talk about, particularly in our context, our random context, African context, and, you know, spiritual context. I know that you are also a woman of faith. So I think there's a certain stigma that has been around that topic, yet it is as real as we are looking at each other today. So I just wanted to set the scene for the viewers following us today, and so that they know that we are truly here with an objective to shed light, and also to give you that chance to be heard, that chance to speak up. If you haven't really had the chance to talk to someone, Samara is right here, and I'm right here to take any questions you have. So that was my intro, just to set the scene. But before we even get there, some people will have heard me say Evelyne, and sometimes I said Samara. So I think it's a good time to share with the audience how we met. So can you share with our viewers how we met, Samara?
Yeah. First of all, my name is Evelyne Haganje, and Samara is my nickname. I was named Samara because I was born the day the president of Mozambique took power in 1975. I'm giving out my my age. I don't care. Yeah. I met Mireille in kindergarten. We were sitting on stones, and we connected. I connected with her sisters. My brothers connected with her brother. So we were family. And then we were refugees in Burundi from Rwandan parents. And at some point there was like problems in Burundi, and then we just lost contact till recently that I found her on Facebook. But she was always a sister. And she is a sister dear to my heart. And I was honored to be invited by Mireille. Is there anything else that I should say? I am a mother. I'm a single mother. I've been raising my children. I have 5 children. My oldest is 21, and my youngest is close to 10. I live in Canada, and as some of you guys that live in North America know what it is to be a single mother in North America. It is hard, but that's why I'm here today. I am somebody who overcame some of the challenging times, and I think I have something to share. I'll be sharing my heart. I'm not a relationship expert, but I'm going to share from my heart. I'm going to share from my experience. That's it for today. That's how I met Mireille, and that's how we ended up here on this platform. And I'm grateful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. And I could feel already from the sound of your voice that there is authenticity and there is readiness to serve. And I appreciate that about you. There is something I just wanted to touch on before we get into the meat, because I know
Yes.
that the viewers want to hear the story. You said something about how we met. Indeed, we met
Yes.
in kindergarten,
Yes.
probably around the early 80s, if not late 70s.
Yes.
Since
Yeah. No, it was mid 80s.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one fun fact about you and I is that, as you said, you know, we are Rwandans and we were born as refugees in Burundi. And, you know, people don't know this, they don't know that about me, but, you know, just like you and many of us, we started off humbly. And we went to kindergarten and primary school, which was specifically for Rwandan refugees in Burundi.
Yes.
And our first experience was to sit not on school benches, but on bricks. Do you
Yes.
remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. So our beginnings were very humble, and I just wanted to, you know, shed a little bit more light on that, because I know that some people who are watching us may have also started that way. Yet it's true that we evolved and we moved to different countries and we did a number of things. But you know what I appreciate about you and our very humble beginnings is that
Yes. Yeah.
we've managed to remain friends from primary.
Yes.
And I remember that when we reconnected, you were quick to tell me that you are 1 year older than me, Samara.
Yes, I am. I am. I'm proud. I'm proud. They usually say women don't like to tell their age. I'm proud.
Yeah.
I'm proud.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so
It is a privilege denied to many.
yeah,
To
that's
be
true.
old, it is a privilege denied to many, especially lately. Yeah.
That's true, considering the expectancy of life these days. So since you gave away that you were born in 1975, I guess people can work out that I am 1 year younger than you. So that's so much to the to the
I just
introduction.
gave out your age. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, Samara, we are here to talk about a topic that I know many women and men following us today truly encouraged me, but also commended me for a Rwandan and an African to choose this topic on this show. This topic is very heavy, and in our culture, we don't really speak up, particularly about, you know, abuse, shame, guilt, raising children in a marriage that doesn't work. So I'm going to give you the platform really for you, Samara, to give us a picture of your life, you know, from being married to the stage where, you know, the D word, the divorce, was actually mentioned. So could you tell us, you know, your experience, your highs and lows, so that we have an idea, and then we will break it down as we take questions and comments from the audience. So over to you, Samara.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mireille. When you just asked me to be one of your guests, like the first thing I thought about, it was like be authentic and share my heart, and just not wasting my sorrows. I just want to serve. I just don't want to waste, like turning my tests into a testimony, like not wasting my sorrows, not like I am a strong believer that if you have faith, all things works together for your good.
Right.
In the secular word, they call it what doesn't kill you makes you
Makes you
strong.
stronger. That's right.
Yeah,
And
it
you
makes
are
you
strong.
stronger. Yeah. So without further ado, I just want to tell you a little bit of my story. And I'm not for the sake of the protection of my children, because I have teenagers, I have young adults, and I have like my kids are in all the categories. So I just and divorce or separation doesn't mean you hate your partner. No,
Yeah.
far from that. You like, we all know you can't just marry somebody without loving them. There is love there. There is expectations. There is dreams. There is like, you don't get married to divorce.
That's right.
But what I'm about to tell you is there is a wise man that told me there is 3 ways to learn. There is an easy way to learn. It's learning from other people's mistakes, which I wish our audience to learn from my mistakes, to learn from my experience, so that they can apply it in their lives to avoid to go through the same experience. So there is another second way to learn, is you experiencing that yourself. And I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word, and there's a stupid way to learn. And I'm so sorry. I'm the one of those people who learned a stupid way.
No, come on.
No, because there was people close to me. I saw like what happens when you marry without preparation. And there was experience too, but I kept going, because as women, we just we keep trying. And from our social background, it's like you keep trying till you are broken, which is not good. So for me, I got married young. I got married here in Canada. I came in January 1997, and I met my husband, my ex-husband, in 1998, end of 1998. I was new in the country, without experience, and at 23, you're just a kid. You're just a kid. In some cases, you're just a kid. I was like, going back to how I was brought up. I'm a 7th child in a family of 8 kids. So I was overprotected. Like anything, I knew my brothers will just smash you. I grew up thinking I'm overprotected. And it was the case. Like whenever I went, they just say, oh, she comes from that family. They knew them, that you can't joke with them if you touch their sister. So I was alone. I got in a country where you don't know nothing. There's a culture shock. I just don't understand the system, nothing. So
Samara, for the viewers' benefit, can I just ask you, was your ex from Canada?
No. He's Rwandan, from Burundi too.
Okay, but so you have the same background, more or less.
The same background and everything. Yeah, he went to the same school with my older brothers, because he's 7 years older than me. So I didn't know, like, to tell you, like, I just want to give you one example, showing you how immature I was, how I didn't know, which I just want to emphasize on for our viewers. You have to be prepared for marriage. When you when you drive, when you have to go get your driver's license, you just get your learners. And here it's 3 steps. You get your learners, you keep it for a year, and then you go for your G2 here in Canada, and then you go for your full license. It's the same thing for marriage. It is the same thing for marriage. You can't just go like that. I just want to give you an example. It's kind of funny, but it's not funny at the same time. One of my friends, when I was about to get married, came to me and said, I think you know who you're going to marry. I said, what do you mean? Said, his past is not good. I knew that in the past, he had quite a few girlfriends and he was hitting them. So I just looked at her and said, not me. If he hits me, I'm going to hit him back. So that's brokenness speaking, thinking you're going in a marriage to fight. If he's going to hit me, I'm going to hit him back.
So what I'm hearing you say is that there were some early signals.
Oh my goodness, I have a lot. I had a lot of red flags.
Yes. So, and one of them you just mentioned is a friend that gave you some warnings, but because to your analogy of the learning lessons, so you had some kind of theory stage that you had to pass before, but you kind of said, nah, not with me, maybe others, I'm the exception.
And yeah, it can happen to other people.
Not me, right?
Not
That's
me.
what we think sometimes, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's what we think. Yeah, that's what we think, and that shows immaturity. And I'm not
naivety to some extent, because as you said at the beginning, when you're entering into a marriage or any agreement, it could also be business, there is hope, there is that benefit of a doubt that you are in it for good, for life, and marriage is a contract for life. So I guess one can understand why you believe that you would be an exception. And I know that our viewers, some of them may be thinking about getting married, and what you are saying, truly, I hope that if there are some red flags, that they will be able to pay attention to those, learning from your experience. One of the 3 ways you mentioned to learn from. So
yes, easy way, hard way, and stupid way.
I'm not going to use the third one.
I wish my audience would use the first one, which is why we're here. I'm here opening my heart so that it can help somebody. I just don't want people. The divorce and strife in marriages, it's a pandemic.
It is on its own.
It's universal.
So walk us through. Yeah, walk us through now. You've had some red flags.
Red flags, a lot of red flags that we wouldn't work. Not that he's bad, not that he didn't love me, but we all have different upbringings. That's the things you have to consider before marriage. We just jumped into marriage before preparation. And I'm not saying he's the only one broken. We all come from, at some point in your life, there is brokenness. There is dysfunctional. If it's not your parents, it's your uncles, like how we grew up, our society. There is a lot of dysfunction. There is things we adopted like it's normal, but it's not normal. For somebody else who is prepared, who come from a background of, I'd say, a solid foundation, would know right away if somebody tells you he's gonna hit you, it's a red flag. Yeah. But for me, it was like, I'm gonna hit him back.
So marriage place?
Yeah, was I going to get married or was I engaging myself in a war? Do you understand?
I understand.
Yeah. I had to think about that. You have to get your driver's license after you went through all those steps, requirement states. That's what I can tell people. And of course, it happened. we got married, and at some point I started like mellow down because I'm a woman. I just found out that I'm a woman. I'm not a, I can't fight. You can't fight pregnant. You can't fight weak.
Sorry, I will need you to unpack this, Samara. I know that it is painful. So what do you mean when you say you can't fight pregnant or weak?
Yeah, because if there is an argument with somebody who's like that, if you just think you can fight back, at some point you can't fight back. You can't fight back.
Was it
I experienced that. I experienced that. I just don't want to go into details.
I understand.
But
I respect that.
yeah. But it happened. It happened. Like I usually say in my workshops that we have to know the definition of something. Like abuse, it's abnormal use.
Oh, say that again.
Abuse, it's abnormal use, misuse. Yeah. There is abuse when you misuse something that was purposed for something else.
That's right.
Like if I have a cup of water, it's for water. It's for using it to drink water. I can't use that same cup that I use to drink water to clean a clogged sink. Do you understand? Do you get that?
I don't want that visual in my head now.
Yeah, I'm a kind of visual, and I strongly believe some of our audience are, yeah. So I was expecting to be loved. I was expecting to be taken care of, and there was misuse of the cup. Do you understand? So I just want to keep it there. I don't want to go into details. So it ended up, we separated the first 7 months. We got married in January, and it was a year, close to a year. And in December of that year, we were already separating. It didn't work. But like the studies, they show like from the first year to the 5th year, it's likely the most like time where people get divorced. So it happened. We got separated. He went his way. I went my way. And 2 years later, I just thought, I can hardly hear you, Mireille. I don't know what happened. I can hardly hear you. Hello? Okay, we're good. Yeah. So we went separate ways, and a couple of years later, we reconciled because I'm a woman of faith. I thought there is hope, and we had a couple more kids. And I'm not saying I was the only one who was trying. He tried to, but we weren't meant for each other. We should have known it in the beginning, but we kept trying because, divorce is a stigma, like, especially in our society and in the Christian community. That's what I just opened my heart to talk about that. When you guys know, we didn't hate each other. Everybody who knows us knows that I loved my husband. He knew too, my ex-husband, and he dearly loved me, but we weren't, I can say in a spiritual language, we were unequally yoked. We had different views of life. There is another word that I usually use, when you get married, it's expected to you, the expectations from a husband is to submit to his mission. That's submission. It's two words. Sub is under, and then mission. Do you understand? Most of us women, you don't know what to submit to, because the husband or your spouse, and I would say for women, because submission is required of women, you can't submit to somebody who doesn't have a mission, who doesn't have a vision, because submission is under mission. I'm encouraging men, before you get married, just have a picture, vision, how you want your home to be. Have a mission. Don't just require of your spouse to submit when you don't have a mission. We submit to a mission. It's called submission. Do you understand? I can't hear you. Yeah, so we need to understand that women needs a spouse that's going to lead them. You are the head. Men are the head. And I'm going to talk for men too, because some of us women can be vicious too. I'm not talking about my ex-husband, forgetting about my part. It takes two in a marriage. I'm not perfect. I started my speech saying about how I just said I'm gonna hit him back if he hits me. So I had some stuff that needed to be worked on too. I'm not perfect. So in a marriage, it's two imperfect people. If you want the lady, your spouse to be submissive, then have a mission, have leadership, have a vision before you get them along. Mireille, can you hear me? Okay, good. So that's part of the problem we have, is it's preparation, like I said. Mireille, I can't hear you. I can't see you. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Yeah, okay. So the thing is, I just got to a point of, because it's a process. You start in denial, thinking what's happening to me. And I was in denial for quite a bit. And it was, imagine being in denial and at the same time having children. We were busy. We were some lady told me that you can't have kids if you don't love each other. It means there was love, but it was a dysfunction love. It was a dysfunctional relationship. So he was in school, and I chose to stay home. But in the meantime, the kids would be going to school, and I'll go back to work for a little bit. As I told you, I worked as a customer service representative in banks. So because I needed to have experience in Canada, I was thinking once the kids are grown, I'll have to go back and work. So, but it didn't work. It went from worst to worst. And I started just getting depressed, and my children too, because we're going to go we're going to get to there, how children are affected. The children were affected. Himself too, he wasn't well. So what I liked about our relationship, finally, after 17 years, we were all, I think we got to season of acceptance, because there is a season of denial, a season of depression, and then we got to a season of acceptance. We just looked at each other and knew we were done. He knew and I knew.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean if he knew and I knew that we were done, it was going to be easy. It wasn't easy. The process wasn't easy. So he told me he can't see himself living in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him what was his plans. He wanted to go back home. And I said, what's the plan? If you go back home, what's the plan for me and the kids? And then it goes back to preparation. You have to have a vision for your family, not a vision for yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really, everyone online is commending you for being so transparent and sharing your story. I know there's more that you continue to share. Just to share some questions and comments online so that we can navigate the conversation to where everyone is following us. There is someone asking about, or asking me to ask you about what's the main cause in divorce, for divorce in relationship. So as you share, I think I could pick up a few things that, you know, could also answer this is not being prepared, perhaps not going through, you know, stages of getting your theory when you go through
Yes.
a driving license, like a counseling or premarital counseling, but at the same time not paying attention to the red signs and having the same mission as well. Could you add something to that?
Yeah, I just want, like, we equally have to be prepared.
Right.
As a man, you have to prepare. You have to prepare. You have to have a vision in place and a mission, so that when the spouse, the wife comes along, they will have something to submit to, not your own vision. Do you understand? Because now you are it's for the whole family. How many kids are we gonna have? Where are we gonna live? Those are the questions. Don't, like, for people that are preparing to get married, just ask those questions.
And they're very important, particularly for us, for Africa. And I remember the statistics, how Africa is so young. More than half of our continent is very young. So you sharing this is so powerful, because I hope that now the youth will get to have that wisdom of asking their spouses, hey, where are we going to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? So that both of you can walk together that path. So thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, and another thing, a lead cause of divorce, it's finances. It's a huge thing. Finances, how, like, you have to check. There's certain things you have to check. Like, for example, I just like to use examples. Before I got married, I was here in Canada. Another friend of mine told me there is things, because I was new in Canada. She told me, do you know how the man you're about to marry is responsible with his finances? Do you know his credit score? And again, I looked at her and I said, girl, you are materialistic.
Wow. Yet
That's what I said. you are materialistic. Why should I know? We both gonna work. But what I didn't know, if you don't have the right credit score here in Canada, you can't buy a house, you can't buy a car, you can do nothing. Those are the things you should consider. For men too, which kind of woman is she? Is the kind of woman who wants to do her hair twice a day, you know? It's the kind of woman who's lazy, because there's some women, they just, I think they are traditional. Oh, it's the husband who needs to provide or everything. Yes, he is the main provider, even if you make a lot of money, because lately some women make a lot of money than their spouses, than the men. Yeah, with I'm proud of Rhonda. Yeah, I'm really proud of Rwanda. Like, women are on the top. Yeah. And I really love that. Yeah. I'm proud. Like, wherever I go, I just say, I'm from Rwanda. It is,
So,
yeah.
thank you for answering Hardy's question, and he is a man. So thank you for answering Hardy's question about some
Yes.
of for divorce. So clearly, do your due diligence. So I'm going to convert that into contractual agreement in business. So you do your due diligence before you get into any merger or acquisition, or before hiring someone, you do background checks. So what
Exactly.
it's very much the same to, yes, fall in love, etc., but be prepared, because there are some consequences. And talking about finance, here is some of the findings that I got when preparing for this show. Divorce can be very costly, right? I was looking at North America, where you are. I think the average costs for a divorce is $15,000. So for basically the divorce to be settled, that's the average cost. So I can imagine, in our African cultures or environment, it will be less. But here is another thing as well. If you don't make the right choices, you may actually lose whatever you have saved so hard to, or worked so hard to get. And I'm giving you an example that I saw today when I looked it up. Jeff Bezos, you all heard, his divorce settlement is the highest in history. 35, some people say 36 or 38 billion.
Billions. Yeah, I know.
Founder of Amazon, the wealthiest, supposedly wealthiest man on the planet right now, his divorce settlement was over $35 billion. And you know what $35 billion is, Samara? It is at least the GDP of 3 East African countries.
I know.
So, to your point, doing your due diligence can not only save you, emotional heartache, mental, illnesses, but clearly finances as well. So thank you for shedding so much light on that. We still have 15 minutes, and I'm encouraging, people to ask these questions that are helping us to continue the conversation. But let's shift gears a little bit, Samara, because I would like for you to share now the journey of going from the lowest to the highest. You said that you were tested, but now it's a testing. So how are you doing emotionally? I know that there was shame, there was guilt. You probably felt it was you, or many other things that many women and men go through. Could you share a little bit about how you overcame those inner, self-esteem issues and other things, particularly being a mother to children, witnessing that? Could you tell us a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I just want to tell you, I'm still a work in progress. You can stay, I can say, it would be proudful, and it would be, it wouldn't be the truth. Actually, like you and anybody else, it doesn't require to have been through a divorce. We are all broken at some point in our lives, and we need healing. The thing that helped me a lot is to be, an extrovert. I didn't hide my feelings. I'm not that kind of person. And it's easy to help somebody who's open. So I encourage people to open up, especially men. Yeah. Do you know there's a lot of abused men? I didn't know that. A lot of abused men, but men are likely to be, to keep everything, to internalize everything. So, and in our culture too, they encourage people to just internalize everything, you know? And that makes you vulnerable to other abuses. Like you are abused by your spouse and you internalize everything, and there is you lose your identity. Like at some point, I just like to give myself as an example. At some point, I wouldn't just go out or do something without second guessing myself or asking for, before marriage, I was very, I would say I was full of myself. I was confident to the point you would think you are full of yourself. Like the example is like, if he hits me, I'm going to hit him back. Do you understand? So I received a lot of love. My father, me and my sister were his princesses. Like he had 6 boys and 2 girls. So I received a lot of affection. I had a solid foundation. So if somebody like me with a solid foundation, with all the affection, all the love, can get to a point of second guess yourself and just not even knowing what to wear before you ask for an advice, I would, till recently, I would send like a picture to one of my friends, or I ask my children, is this look nice? And their opinion was like everything to me.
So am I hearing what you are saying, Samara, and I truly appreciate your transparency. So because in your psyche, in your subconscious, you kind of realize that you made the wrong choice the first time, you may make wrong choices again, which was probably one of the reasons why you had to get someone else's second opinion about even smaller details. So that was that level of trauma or level of
yes, and low self-esteem. Yeah. But I love the communication I have with my children, because like my oldest son is 21 and my daughter is almost 19. So they are sometimes I say they are cruel, because they come up and they say, women, you just decide for yourself. You just know who you are. They just, I have, they check on me a lot. They encourage me a lot. Say, you are more than enough. I hear more words of encouragement from my children than anybody, because I was blessed, I won't say lucky, to have children that understands me, that understands like what I went through. You know, what happened to me, why I react a certain way. So, and they're intelligent. They know, they read a lot of books, which it's not from me. It's from my ex-husband. He's an intellectual. I don't, I'm not insecure to say, not to mention that he has some good points, some good things in his life that he instilled in our children, and it's helping me. So what I was talking about, I just went a little bit. I love to talk. Yeah, I love to talk about my children because they are my everything. That's the main reason I'm still standing. That's the main reason I thought, and I'm encouraging everybody who's like our audience to just know that it's not over. It's not over, because when you have children, you're not doing it only for yourself. You are doing it for them. So healing is very important. And how do you heal? It depends on your situation, because we are unique. Like every marriage doesn't look like another one. It's your marriage. You have to know, you have to be brave enough to talk about it. You have to have support, and if you can afford it. Unfortunately, in a lot of countries, especially African countries, we don't have access to family counseling. I was blessed to be in a country where we have access to family counseling. So it's I'm not ashamed to talk about that. I went through counseling.
Yes, and I appreciate that. So I do have questions, because I know we have only 7 minutes left, but those are fantastic questions. So I have Bui asking a question saying, I'd like to know how Evelyne bounced back. That's one. And the second question is from Sophie saying, what is the spiritually accepted life after marriage? So it is along the lines of your your story of, yes, getting help, yes, getting counseling, and yes, speaking to your children when your children are involved, but helping those who ask the questions, how did you bounce back, and how is it spiritually accepted in your view? I know that there are thousands of books of people agreeing with
Yes. Oh,
marriage, but I'm not going to go there. I would like to hear your opinion on
my opinion about, like, yeah, the thing is, like, I always tell people there is a personal relationship with God, with which I call spirituality, and there is religion. Do you know the spiritual connection with God is a relationship? It's not do's and don'ts. But religion is do this, do that. There is no relationship. And if you go check the definition of religion, it's division. Religion is divisive. Do you understand? Religion take a part of scriptures and changed it into a whole Bible. Do you understand? For me personally, I'm not encouraging anybody to just take like my word and use it in their marriages. It's different. For me, I have all the things that the Bible says as a spiritual leader that allowed me to separate and divorce my ex-husband. And I encourage anybody here not to go to those religious people that tells you God hates divorce, but also God said you can't cheat. Do Do you understand? If there is cheating, I don't say leave your marriage or divorce. There is also forgiveness. It's for time's sake. I can't go into details, but for me personally, if there is abuse, you are out.
Okay. And how did you bounce back? That was one of Buyi's questions. So how
I bounced back? I went through counseling, and I found out the problems I have, because through the process of divorce, there is a time where you are confused, in denial, and there's a time where it's painful, you're grieving. Give yourself time to grieve. It's okay to grieve, and take your time depending on your circumstances. Take your time, grieve, because divorce is a loss. It's the same thing. It's the same process as losing somebody, like somebody dying, because you are one. When you are married, you become one. It's part of you that is dead. And the saddest part of it, like, your partner is dead, but he's still living at the same time. You have to deal with them. Do you understand? When you lose somebody, like when they die, you at least know they are at peace. It's done. You just work on the grief. How about grieving and at the same time seeing the people? It's hard. So give yourself time to grieve. And what helped me, and family support. I encourage anybody here in our audience that have somebody who's going through a divorce, support them emotionally. I'm so thankful for my family. They supported, because at some point you're not even easy to deal with, because of the brokenness, the confusion and everything. I moved with my children in another city so that I can be close to my family. And one of my brothers was very, very supportive. When I got there, because I had sold my car, because I was moving in another city so that I can get it was like I left everything behind. I was starting a new life. So he helped me to settle, and he would do everything. He gave me a car. He would put gas in my car. And one thing he asked me is putting the car in the back. In the back, we had 2 parking lots, in front and in the back. He said, if you put it in the front, it's going to be, I'm going to have tickets. Put it in the back. That was simple. He was paying for the gas. He was paying for the car, everything. But I would leave the car in the front and get angry at him. Do you understand? The anger. Some of us are angry. So we have to be, I am calling people to be patient on people that are going through divorce. And the other thing, exercising. I like those who are my Facebook account and Instagram, I just release my stress through exercising. And I'm a nature lover, and I just worked on myself. I relearned to love myself.
My goodness.
One thing, like when you are on your flight, the flight attendant, they tell you, if anything happens, you just put the mask on yourself, and then you can save other people. If I didn't work on myself, my children will be a mess. So I relearned to love myself, to know that I'm not what happened to me. Just know that you're not what happened to you. You're not what the other person said you are. you are who God created you to be. I encourage people that you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
You're wonderful, and so are you. My goodness, I wish we had so much time, because you have shared so much wisdom, and now the comments are just off the hook. I wish we had more time to go through each of the comments and questions as well. So what I hear you say is that clearly, you know, we went through a journey, you being so gracious and generous to be used, to serve, and helping others to learn from your experience. You've truly walked with us, you know, that stage of starting meeting someone with, you know, with some red flags, not paying attention to some of the things, but yet there was a lesson. And even during the, you know, the marriage, the initial stages were, you know, not easy, but I remember you said the first year there was separation, but then you came back together, and you were together for a while. And you yourself went through a certain journey of healing, so that whatever the whole situation took from you, you knew how to deal with that, because you asked for help, because you were conscious that you were very strong, because you came from a background of resilience and strength. You could not have allowed yourself to really be that situation. So through all of that, you now rose up to be that strong woman who speaks through vulnerability, and also runs workshops for women and men not to go through the same thing. So there's so much that you shared that many people agree to, and that I agree with. I think, as you started off saying, with the 3 things, the learning lessons, the ways of learning.
Easy way to learn, hard way to learn, and stupid way to learn.
So easy way for people to learn, following us
from other people's experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, circling back to the beginning, because we need to wrap up, sadly, and I think we may need to have you back, Samara, because there is so much that I picked up that we can't go into, such as, you know, divorce and spirituality, and also stigma around culture. So that's show on its own. So we will need to have you back on that. But in conclusion, I think what I take away from this is that you chose to say yes, you chose to bounce back, you chose for the life that you have to make sense, not only for yourself because you deserve it, but for the children that you are raising, even though the children were sort of a part of that story, but them seeing you taking ownership and accountability of your story. Now you are teaching others. Now you run the workshops. So now I know some of the people watching us may want to be in contact with you. How can get hold of you? How can they connect with you, Samara?
They can connect me on my Instagram, and I'm very, very active on Facebook. And we can connect that way. And those who are in Canada, in the Hamilton area, I go to a church called Kingdom Worship Center, and I am a part of the women ministry. I'm one of the leaders in the women ministry. And also we have a group of women. We help one another. We meet Monday night. If you are in Australia, North America, I think in Rwanda too, but it's too late because we do it at 9 Eastern time, 9 p.m. So we meet, we have a conference call. So we help one another. If you are in North America, I always post it on my Facebook page. We can connect through Facebook, Instagram, and I can answer for more questions.
Indeed. And your handles for Facebook and Instagram so that they can connect with you. What's your name on those platforms?
It's Evelyne Samara Haganje.
And I can share those with our viewers that may want to connect with you. So thank you. It is 6 minutes past the hour. It has been difficult for me to sort of get this conversation started because I know that, as I said at the beginning, it's a difficult time. It is, yes, a physical pandemic that we all are going through with the COVID, but as you said yourself, it is an emotional pandemic, the issue of the word, the divorce. So I hope you learned from Samara today, and I hope that you will know how to make wise choices, decisions, and you're not all by yourself. There's always help. There are always people there to walk the journey with you, whatever that journey is. There are people who are available. There are coaches like myself, like my colleagues. There are counselors and my friends that can walk the journey with you so that you don't have to struggle by yourself. So allow me to end here by thanking you, Samara, once again for your time.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It was, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, as I said in the beginning, that we can help people because as I said, it's a pandemic. The divorce rate, it's like you see, like in Rwanda, it's 9,000 marriages.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I think we will need to have you in Rwanda, and that also allows me to share next week's topic. So next week's show, we're going to be back with an African in the diaspora, and the topic for next Sunday's show is Africans in the diaspora bridging the gap. I will have Sneha Shah, the former managing director of Thomson Reuters in South Africa, who is now based in New York, working for Refinitiv, that will talk to us about Africans in the diaspora like Samara can bridge the gap and truly be part of the transformational journey of Africa, economically, emotionally, like we have seen today, and otherwise. So I'm inviting you to join us again next Sunday, same time, 6 p.m. Kigali time, 4 p.m. GMT or Universal time, and 12 p.m. for those who are in North America on Eastern time. So until I see you next Sunday, thank you all.
Thank you.
And you're not alone. You're not all by yourself. And let's transform the world, one person at a time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.